You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
Welcome back to the Betoota Advocate radio show. It is grand final weekend, and we're talking about the real grand final, the one that people can actually celebrate and attend by the looks of things. That is the NRL grand final there in Suncorp Stadium tomorrow evening. You're joined by myself, Clancy Overell, editor of the Betoota Advocate. You're joined by Errol Parker, editor-at-large. How are you, Errol?
Look, I'm all right, mate. I'm, just taking it a bit easy. I had my second jab the other day, and I've just had the most severe chest pains I've had in my life. But I think I'm coming out the other side of it.
That might be because it's your third jab, Errol. Because by my count, you were the first in.
Yep.
So your third jab.
Is that a booster then?
It is a booster, yes.
But before it was due. So that might explain the chest pains. What about you, Wendell?
Yeah, pretty good. As you said, Clancy Grand Final coming up, which is very exciting. Like I like the occasion of the aerial ping pong. That is the AFL Grand Final. It's probably the game of the year that I watch. But yeah, obviously the NRL Grand Final's a different beast. Looking forward to see who they can get out there for halftime. Hopefully a bit of Shepherd, maybe.
Definitely Shepherd.
How are you going, Clancy?
I'm good, mate. As you just mentioned before, I'm excited to see the most available band in Queensland make yet another Grand Final appearance. Other than that,
I just hope that their father's doing okay in that Port Moresby prison cell where he's probably going to spend the next quarter of his life. I'm not sure, but I'm not a judge.
I'm not a judge. I'm certainly not a judge in Port Moresby. And this weekly bulletin is brought to you by Saintly Hard Seltzer's new cocktail-inspired range, Paradise Passion Fruit Martini, Grapefruit Margarita, and the Almighty Mojito. And I'll tell you what, it's a bad weekend to be a hard seltzer in New South Wales, I reckon, because I think the outgoing Premier, Gladys Berejiklian, will be putting a few of these away.
Yes, they sound delicious. They sound sweet. Perfect for you two. Young fellas, you bastards love your sweet drinks, don't you?
Absolutely, mate. It's gluten in the beer, and I've been I'm mixing things up, and seltzers seem to be the ones that are going to carry me through summer. No
sugar though, no carbs. Are also perfect if you keep your body in time for summer, which Gladys will be doing.
Consume my alcohol. I drink a middy of Drambuie after dinner.
With orange juice. A nip of orange juice.
Now that is a cocktail maybe that Saintly should be getting around. A new type of hard seltzer.
I call it the Darren Hinch.
Sounds delicious, Errol. Now this does segue perfectly into our first story. The New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian has resigned, saying it's going to be a hot girl summer.
Yes, and another example of a New South Wales Premier having to step down from their role due to corruption investigation. Gladys has announced that she will resign as soon as the Liberal Party can elect a new leader, and will also resign from New South Wales Parliament.
Obviously, there's a lot of chat about the Independent Commission Against Corruption being responsible, but it can be revealed that the main reason for the resignation is because Gladys is going to enjoy herself a hot girl summer down in Sydney.
And a bit of Byron as well, I think. With things about to open up and a tough few years behind her, Gladys said to us, I'm sick of toxic people, both political opponents and shitty guys. I've got flights to Byron booked, I'm blocking a lot of numbers, and I'm going off Insta for a while. I'll see you in a few months when it settles down. Kelly Chancellor chimed in the comments section of that one, the most popular comment. She said, imagine losing your career over a boyfriend named Daryl.
That's a bit classist from Kelly there, but
I'm sure it's happened a few times.
Next up on that story, and the state of New South Wales is now relieved to finally see an end to corruption as John Barilaro takes control of the government.
This is a relief for the corruption capital of the country. After decades of paying state politicians who wouldn't lie straight in bed, fill-in Premier John Barilaro is set to herald a new era.
Yes, it's believed Gladys's resignation will now put an end to the rolling state corruption scandals, with Clean Skin Nationals leader John Barilaro taking over the reins. Barilaro is commonly known as the very epitome of integrity and will fill in for Berejiklian until the Liberals elect another leader. With a raft of pencil-looking blokes in suits lining up for the job, he's got the integrity, morals and selflessness to stamp out corruption in the New South Wales government. Exciting times down south.
Indeed. Now we'll break up the national news with a local story from here in town, and it's brought to you by the sponsors of our podcast today, Saintly. A mum has begun telling her kids about this new drink she's found called a seltzer.
Yummo, at the forefront of culture this mum is here. Beverly Hills from our town's Betoota Plains region said she's finally got this cool new drink her adult kids should try. They're called seltzers, apparently, and she reckons her offspring would probably like them.
Yes, rolling in with the seltzers, a word which roughly translates to hard soda water. Beverly received a few eye rolls and laughs from her kids. Of course, with the free grog on offer, they dutifully obliged and drank a lot of them.
Yes, never pass up on free alcohol. Good on them. Heading to the other side of Queensland for our next story, Anastasia Palaszczuk has asked the media if they've got fucking rocks in their head, because of course the footy takes priority.
Yes, anyone wondering why the once lockdown ready, trigger happy Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk has not yet locked down, simply need to ask themselves, is there a major rugby league match happening this weekend? Because there is. Tomorrow night, the Penrith Panthers play South Sydney Rabbitohs in the Battle of South and West. It's a football match that the Premier of Queensland is so happy to have taken off New South Wales' hands. It's the first NRL Grand Final to be hosted in Queensland. And how many are we talking? 14 active cases in Queensland don't mean shit right now. Even though, last year leading into an election, they certainly would have meant a lot. She's made it clear to the journalists there, if they think that she's going to lock down the city and not host this event, they've got fucking rocks in their head.
Well, this dovetails nicely with that report that was released, I think 2 days ago by the CSIRO, that found that, COVID cannot spread during grand final week. And that also carries on from their previous research, which dictates that the virus hates the heat. And if you've seen the weather reports for this weekend in Brisbane, it's going to be an absolute stinker.
Oh yeah, Fortitude Valley will be full of necklace titans from the NRL, and I hope they have a great time.
Worst comes to worst, lock it down at midnight on Sunday night, or maybe 6 a.m. at Sunday night. And
Monday. Leave it till Monday.
Leave it till Monday. Fair enough. Now we'll finish up with a story from down south. We haven't mentioned Melbourne yet, and a Melbourne man who had 20 mates over on grand final night has shrugged and said it was a sick night.
Yes, there was a huge spike in cases down in the southern end of the mainland this week, with Victoria Premier Dan Andrews blasting people who had illegal grand final, AFL of course, grand final parties. However, there were a few people down there who've had enough and don't regret a session at all.
And one of those people was a Kooyong man who understandably asked to remain anonymous. He's a D's fan, and he told us that Saturday night was fucking mad and he doesn't regret a thing. And as the big fella explained, and I quote, "Who gives a fuck? So what? We all have the virus now. We all got double jabbed with the Pfizer back in June because we all went to Timbertop and got the hookups. But yeah, look, none of us feel sick at all."
350 days in lockdown does funny things to your head.
It does, man.
It'll turn you against your own trade union.
Anyway, that's the end of our weekly news wrap. We hope you've enjoyed it. And a special mention once again to Saintly and their new cocktail-inspired hard seltzer range, who are bringing you the podcast this week. They're available at Uncle Dan, so go and give them a whirl. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Hooroo!
Glory, glory.
Glory, glory.